What's up, bitches? This is Silent Rob, and today I'm going to talk about DLC, downloadable content. And I know I've talked about it a little bit in the past. I talked about it like on my Final Fantasy VII video, but I'm going to dedicate an entire video to it because I really need to talk about this, and I got to get some stuff off my chest. Because I'm really worried about the state of gaming right now. If you look back in the early 80s, about 83, 84, whenever the video game crash happened, you got to ask yourselves, why did that video game crash happen in the first place? Well, it's because of oversaturation. The market was crowded with a bunch of crappy games, okay? And people got sick of it and stopped buying them, and the video game crash happened. If you look around at what video games are doing right now, it's starting to look a little bit like it did in the 80s, okay? You got crappy games everywhere, and on top of those crappy games, you got crappy DLC everywhere. And I present the same question that I presented in my other video. Is $60 not enough to get everything that's supposed to be in the game already in the game? Like these Call of Duty map packs that they're fucking releasing at an exorbitant $15 a piece, and all you get is 3 new maps and a bunch of old fucking maps that you've already played a million times. So we're talking $5 a piece for these fucking new maps. That's bullshit. You can buy a fucking new game for that. Why is it when I buy a game nowadays, I have to think ahead in the future? Okay, I have to think ahead in the future that am I going to have the extra money to buy all the extra content that's going to eventually come out with this game? Like GTA. Before GTA even came out, there was talks of DLC and all these different episodes that was going to come out exclusively for the Xbox 360, which I knew that was bullshit, but anyways. You know, even before the original game came out, okay? So we're talking about the actual game hasn't been released, but these fuckers are already talking about DLC. Once again, I present the question, why can't this shit be in the game in the first place or just be free after you buy the game, okay? $60 is plenty of money to spend to get everything that's supposed to be in that game in the first place. I'm sick and tired of this shit, okay? I'm like one of the biggest Mega Man fans ever. But I didn't buy all the fucking downloadable content on Mega Man 9 or 10. I didn't buy any of it on Mega Man 10. And it's because who the fuck's going to pay for a difficulty mode? Okay, you're going to tell me that this stuff wasn't already in the game. I know it was, but you took it out to make an extra buck. Okay, and it's bullshit. You're nickel and diming all these gamers. Okay, you're nickel and diming gamers that have been playing games since games first came out. And how much abuse do you think these people are going to take? How many times do you think I'm going to spend an extra $10, $15 on, you know, something that should have been already on the fucking disc to begin with? We didn't have this trouble back, you know, when games were more pure. You know, when games like Super Nintendo, Sega, even, you know, Dreamcast, PlayStation 2, all this other stuff, you know, when the internet was actually active, you know, in the PlayStation 2, Xbox era, you didn't see this shit. Okay? You didn't see it. You know, even when the PlayStation 1 was out, you didn't see this shit. This is a new thing. This is a way to make money. Because what you people have to realize is that DLC is pretty much just complete money in their pockets. Because there's no physical, actual product here that we're talking about, okay? We're talking about just digital media. We're talking about just digital entertainment here. There's nothing physical about it. And that's fine, you know what I mean? I know people's argument's going to be like, well, you know, they put the extra time and effort in this stuff. Yeah. But it should be in the game in the first place. I already bought the game. Why should I have to buy it again? So, like I said, it comes down to, you know, how much you really like the game. And if you want, you know, a lot of people get turned off by this shit and don't even want to purchase the game because they don't even, A, they don't have an internet connection, or B, they don't have $100 to spend to get the complete experience on these games. It's not fair, okay? Especially for the people that don't have internet connections. And then they have to go out and buy, like for instance with episodes from Liberty City, have to go out and buy a separate fucking game pack. It's just bullshit. And you got to think about in the future here, people. In the future, 10 years down the line, is that DLC still going to be active? Is it still going to be playable? You know, by the way that DLC works on the Xbox 360, if you like change hard drives and stuff, you have to be logged in to Xbox Live in order to play all that DLC that you guys have spent all your hard money on buying. Now, the question I present to you is, what if 10 years down the line, are you still going to be able to play this stuff 10 years later? Are you going to be able to get on and, do some retro gaming and play the actual episodes from Liberty City on your hard drive? Are they still going to be active? Is your hard drive still going to be working? These are the questions, people, and these are serious questions. I mean, what if I changed hard drives? I have to get on Xbox Live in order to play my DLC and all my downloaded games and stuff. And what if Xbox Live is no longer active? Am I still going to be able to play those things that I spent my money on 10 years ago? Yeah, it was 10 years ago, but I still bought it. Is it still going to be active? Do I just have to be connected to the internet with it in order for it to work? Is the internet going to work at all 10 years from now? These are the questions, and these are the questions that I present to people. Because, I look in my big bin full of old retro games like my Super Nintendo and my NES games and stuff like that. I can still pop those games in and play them anytime I feel like it. So it feels like a worthy purchase, when you spend $50 on a game back in the day because they last forever. But now, it just doesn't seem like that anymore. It just seems like these games are on loan. Like you're being loaned these games, or like it's an extended rental. It's bullshit, like what EA is doing right now. EA is actually going to charge people to play all their online stuff if you buy the game used. So you can't even buy a used EA game anymore, sports games like Tiger Woods and stuff, and play online because you have to actually purchase the online stuff. I see what they're doing with that, but once again, it goes back to, holy shit, you know what I mean? Like, talk about nickel and diming all these gamers, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. What if somebody buys this used game, doesn't know this, they're going to have to fork out another fucking $10? You like these people that buy these used games at GameStop for $55, $5 less than the actual new copy. So you're going to have to actually spend more money? You're going to have to spend another $10 to get the online working? That's bullshit, okay? That's bullshit. That's more money than the actual new game. I just don't buy it. I just don't think that gaming is what it used to be. Back when I used to play Super Nintendo, N64, PlayStation 1, back when what I call the golden age of gaming, it just felt different. It didn't feel like it did today. Not everybody and their fucking dog played video games. You kind of had like an elite feeling, you know what I mean? That you did something that was really cool that not everybody else knew about. That you were good at something that not everybody can say they were good at. You could talk about something and people would want to listen because they were intrigued because they never really heard of that stuff. Now, everybody and their fucking dog plays video games. They aren't necessarily good at it, but they all play video games. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. For instance, with the Wii, everybody can play the Wii, and that's great that everybody can play the Wii, but is video games the type of thing that everybody should be able to do? Is it that type of media? I mean, I just don't know if video games are really like that. I don't know if video games should be totally open to everybody. Because when you make them open to everybody, that you lose a little something. You lose a little bit of that exclusivity, if you will. You lose a little bit of that, what made it special in the first place. And I think games have kind of gotten to that point. There are still games out there that are for the hardcore crowd, Ninja Gaiden, stuff like that, really hard games, Demon Souls, stuff like that. But for the most part, I honestly think that games are just trying to go to the mainstream. Games are trying to get easier, and it's just not fair. Final Fantasy 13, for example, lost a lot of the intricate things that made it a Final Fantasy game. It was still a great game. I loved it. I even reviewed it in one of my videos. But it was definitely more for a mainstream audience. You go back and play, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo. Not everybody can pick up and just play that game. Same thing goes with like Final Fantasy 5, Earthbound, those games. Not everybody can just pick up and play those games. It takes a little bit of knowledge on what a video game is for you to actually play that. And I think that's what made video games special, and I just don't think that it has that anymore. And to nickel and dime all these gamers that already know this in their heart, I just hope that it doesn't ruin gaming as we know it. I just hope that people don't get just fed up and say, fuck this. You know, how long can these developers do this to people before people are like, fuck it? That's the question I present to you.